Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how you can set up custom materials for your custom models and also change some settings within some models that will probably help you out later down the line. But first of all, let's go over the materials. So we're just going to make a material from scratch, even though this whole project already has a crap ton of materials. But just as an example, I'm just going to make my own so you know how you can make a material your own if you ever happen to import your own models. So I'm gonna go with the prison cell over here in meshes, kits, barricades, and then textures. Basically what I'm gonna do, we have here the base color. So we're gonna right click and then go to create material. You can also, if you have a completely custom material, you can also just right click and then go to material, and you'll just create a material like that. For now, we'll just do this, double click to open it, and now we are in the material editor. So then press Control Space. We will navigate back to where we were, so barricades and then materials, and then textures, there we go. So then we have our folder with all the textures that our materials are made out of. So for now, we're just gonna focus on the prison cell, and this prison cell material has two textures in this case, the normal map and the ORM. And ORM stands for occlusion, which is in this case ambient occlusion. The R stands for roughness and M stands for metallic. So first we're gonna plug in the normal map, just the RGB into the normal, and the normal map will basically simulate fake depth for the material so that it can cast shadows in certain areas. So as we can see, you can now over here see that it has some, little edges over here. If we disconnect this node by holding Alt and then clicking on it, we can see that it's now completely flat again. As we can see, as soon as we connect it, it adds some fake depth. It's still completely flat, mind you. And this is just kind of an illusion that game developers use to simulate a lot more detail than there actually is, which is great for optimizing games and performance. So then we're going to go to the ORM map. Basically, we're just going to plug in all the nodes properly. So if we open this texture, we can see that it's basically just a bunch of colors laid on top of each other. However, if we only select one of these colors, we can actually see that there are basically three textures hidden in one texture file. So the red is the ambient occlusion, the green channel is the roughness map, and blue is metallic. So if we now go in here and plug red into ambient occlusion, green into roughness, and blue into metallic, we can now see that we have some very nice reflections. And that is because each of these channels basically tells the main material what parts of the texture to give the metallic, roughness, and ambient occlusion property. So now if we apply this and save it, yeah, we don't really have a model to try it on with this material, but I'll just create this cube real quick to demonstrate. As we can see, it now looks like this little edge over here is casting a shadow, and if I move the sun, we can actually see that it, accurately simulates basically all the stuff, while basically being a completely flat texture. So yeah, basically this is probably what you're gonna do for most of your materials if you want to make new ones. Now, something that is good to keep in mind, these Poppy Playtime assets mostly use these ORM textures because they're basically three textures packed into one. However, if you happen to import your own models, including its textures, there's a good chance that those models will come with separate textures for these metallic, roughness, and ambient occlusion materials. If that is the case, just plug the RGB into the ambient occlusion, roughness, and metallic. But yeah, that's basically it for the materials. So if you ever want to make your own materials like this is the way to do it. And then I also got another quick question that I wanted to mention, and that is with vents, or basically any model in general. Right here, we have this nice walkable vent. At least that's what it's supposed to be. But as you can see, if I shoot at this, my hands get stopped, and I actually can't pass through it. Now, why is that the case? It's clearly open, right? Well, if we press here and then go to player collision, this is actually what the player is colliding with. And this is, as you can see, literally just a full blue box. And that's not what we want, because we actually want to physically be able to pass through this vent. So how do we fix this? Well, it's actually pretty simple. You're just going to double click on this model. We're going to go to this little search bar over here and look up collision, or just call, scroll down, and under the collision presets, we're going to go to project default and set complex collision as simple. So then we're going to save it. And now, if we take a look at the player collision, now as we can see, it is actually the proper shape of the actual model. And if we now crouch, we can nicely pass through it. However, this collision has not been set for, you know, all the vent meshes, right? You don't want to change the collision of every single model separately. So how do we do that? Well, we're just gonna right click on this and then go to show in folder view, and then now we have every single mesh of the vent in this folder. So we're just gonna do Control A, select all these meshes, right click, and then go to asset actions, edit selection in property matrix. So click on that. We're gonna look up collision complexity, and then over here where it says multiple values, we're gonna set it to complex collision as simple. And now if we save it and drag in any of these meshes and set it to player collision, as you can see now, all of these models have the correct collision applied to them that actually perfectly fits with the model. You might have to do this for some other models, so if you ever want to know if the collision is off, just click on this little lit button, or unlit maybe, depending on how you're using the engine. Just click on this little button right here and go to player collision, and that will basically show you, well, what the player will collide with. It's good to know that it's not the same as visibility collision. There are two different things. It's also not the same as wireframe. So just make sure that it's player collision, and then you should be good to go. So yeah, I think that is basically everything for this little video. If this video was useful to you, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and then I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.